My name is Greta, and this is the story of how I went from being alone to known. Many of you already know this, but I had a really awesome childhood. I had parents who cared about me and thought about what was best for me, and I had siblings who were my best friends and who I could spend all the time I wanted with, and I just have a lot of really great memories from my childhood. It was a very comfortable place, and I was just so loved that I felt very secure and safe there. I went to church on Sundays because my dad was a pastor, and I remember thinking that Christianity was something that you were committed to and that we did, but that it wasn't really something that changed your heart or was personal to you. I remember thinking that God was someone who we worshiped and was worthy of our worship, but who was impersonal, not personal. And so I would describe that season of my life, in spite of the fact that I was surrounded by loving people, as being very alone. No one knew how I felt deep inside because only someone who had made me could know that. About the time I was 12, my mom was diagnosed with a serious illness at the same time she was pregnant. And I remember going to bed that night that she was diagnosed and waking up the next morning and just knowing so clearly that my life would never be the same. I walked into a world that was full of a lot of hurt and fear and pain, and I didn't have a clue what to do with those things. My heart was in a place it had never been before, and I experienced fear in a way that I had never experienced before. During that time, I became very angry at God. I couldn't understand why He would take my comfort-filled world and replace it with one that was so scary. I didn't know whether my mom would live, and I didn't know what my life would be like, and I just knew that right then my life was filled with a lot of hurt. In response to that, I became very manipulative and angry, and just my heart was very dark. I rebelled against a lot of things that I knew and felt like nobody could understand me. And in fact, I was alone. No one could see the hurt in my heart except God, and I didn't know that God could see it. My mom was mercifully healed. God healed her, and after 2 years, our life started to go back to normal, but my heart didn't. I was still very angry and bitter at God for what He had done to my family. And it was around that time that my parents encouraged me to read the Bible for myself. And finally one day I relented, and I opened God's Word and read James 1, which says, "Blessed is the man who perseveres under trial, for once he has been approved, he will receive the crown of life which the Lord has promised to those who love Him." And it was in those words that I realized that I was known, that God knew my pain and that He knew my suffering, and that it wasn't in vain, that He had done it so that I would grow closer to Him. And I also understood over the next year that God didn't just want me to worship Him on Sundays, but He wanted to have a personal relationship with me. And that in order to have that relationship, He had sent His only Son, Jesus, to die on a cross for all of the terrible things I had said to Him and done during the time that I was grieving and hurt. That changed my life forever. I still experienced hurt and pain, but because I am known by the person who created me and who knows my heart, I can experience His love and express that love to others. During the years that my mom was sick, I wasn't able to be loving to other people because I was so hurt. But now, because Jesus loved me, I can love other people, and I have joy in my life, even when things are hard. So that's the story of how I went from being alone to known. And if you'd like to talk about it, I would love to talk about it with you if you have thoughts. I'd also love to know where you're at on your spiritual journey. So if you want to, send me a Facebook message and we can connect. Also, if you want to see other WSU students talk about their stories, you can click on the hashtag WSU before and after attached to this video. Hope you all have a great day.